What's up, visionary? I am Clee Davis, your vision actualization mentor, here to help you break down your vision building barriers, and I am back for another Friday episode. Today, we are talking about learning, how to do it faster and smarter. Now, why am I doing an episode on learning? Well, some of the world's most brilliant minds have explicitly shared how important learning is. Mahatma Gandhi said, "Live as if you were to die tomorrow, and learn as if you were to live forever." Abigail Adams said, "Learning is not attained by chance. It must be sought after for with ardor and attended to with diligence." One of the most famous writers of all time, Dr. Seuss, says, "The more that you read, the more things you will know. And the more that you learn, the more places you will go." And Michelangelo has famously always said, "I am still learning." So basically what all these great minds are saying is that if you aren't learning, you aren't building. Your vision will remain a distant dream if you don't continuously feed your mind with new information to get to your destination. Learning is great, but if done ineffectively, it could be laborious, boring, tedious. What if I told you I can increase your learning by 200% every day? Yep, that's right. I can show you how to learn faster and smarter with one tip. Are you ready for it? All right, here we go. Contextual learning. All right, not contextual learning where you learn based on the relation of material to the real world applications, even though that's very effective as well. So keep that. But I mean contextual learning as in learning based on your environment, where you are and what you are doing. You learn smarter and faster not by altering your day to study more stuff over more time. You learn smarter and faster by understanding how to learn based on where you already are. The biggest factor in effectively using contextual learning is self-awareness. If you are not aware of your schedule, your likes, your dislikes, your tendencies, and habits, good or bad, this technique will not work as well for you. So you might want to get that out the way first. I will use myself as an example to help you understand contextual learning just a little bit better. I learn faster by taking in small doses of information all day long, literally all day. The average human is awake 16 hours a day. I would be humbly generous and say 13 out of those 16 hours, I am learning. Can you imagine sitting down and studying for 13 hours a day? Your GPA would be insane. But no, you cannot imagine sitting down 13 hours a day and studying because that is humanly impossible for the brain to do effectively. Plus, it's boring as Yo, why did the sensor go off? What in the... You know why the sensor went off?
It's the new system we got.
I wasn't about to curse. I was just about to say yes. Yo, why does the sensor keep going off? Turn that off. Turn it off.
It came with the package. You paid for it.
I know it came with the pack. Just turn it off. It's just cutting me off. I was only going to say yes, flip. Try not to curse on this show. This is family-friendly programming.
Boy, if you don't...
Okay, yes, so 13 hours a day. That is why contextual learning is so amazing. You can spend so much more time absorbing valuable information than you normally would with a traditional studying method. My mind is the most efficient, focused, and absorbent in the mornings, usually before 6:30 a.m. This means I give myself time in the mornings to do my hardest, most mentally taxing work. I have the energy and fortitude at that time of day to understand things faster, learn more clearly, and apply concepts better. If I wake up early enough even, I also have minimal distractions because the rest of the world is usually still asleep. Now you might be saying, "Well, Cleveland, what if my hours aren't in the morning? What if my peak hours aren't in the morning? Everybody's a morning person." Okay, I get that. It doesn't matter when they are. You just need to know when they are. If you don't already know, it might be easier to discover than you think. Just ask yourself, what part of the day are you most productive? That's probably the answer. And you might as well just test it out. If your peak hours are in the midday, use your lunch break. If it's late at night, be the night owl that you were born to be. As long as you maximize on that period of time, you are good, my friend. All right, so when I wake up, I immediately start to feed my mind. Immediately. I don't work out. I don't eat. I don't do some meditative yoga, whatever people are saying these days, because those things don't require as much work from my brain as other tasks do. Now, the list of things I just said I don't do in the morning are things you hear you should do in the morning from the most successful entrepreneurs, the mindfulness gurus, and productivity experts. I'm none of those things, all right? I'm just none of those things. I'm just a normal guy trying to do some extraordinary things. And for that to happen, I have to cater to myself. I don't care what the people do are on the other podcasts and YouTube and stuff doing yoga every morning and meditating for an hour. Am I saying that I don't listen to these people and try the things out that they suggest? Of course not. That would be dumb because they're all smarter than I am probably. But what I am saying is that you don't have to do those things to have an awesome morning routine. Your morning routine is what works for you and you alone. Okay, I am completely getting off topic here. I'm going on a tangent. Morning routine for visionaries actually will be addressed in another episode. So let's get back on track. Okay, a few hours after my brain sapping learning application during my peak hours, I begin my day as a normal person. I make breakfast. I prepare for work. I work out, drive around, go to work, come home, then I go to sleep, just like a normal day. I have to say, I think that's like the typical template for a life of the average human being, at least in the United States and in Canada. So how do I consistently learn while doing all this stuff? I no longer have time to sit down and study anything. My life is moving. It's going everywhere. Well, the answer, I thank God for technology because that is exactly how I do it. We are blessed to live in an age where consuming information is easier than it has ever been. The knowledge of the world is literally at your fingertips. There are so many mediums of learning that you can utilize at any point in the day. YouTube, podcasts, audiobooks, Skillshare, Facts app, blogs, LinkedIn. Even the world around you can be used to make learning so easy, you won't even realize that you're still learning. Trust me. You learn faster and smarter based on knowing where you are and what you will be doing, and having the self-awareness to know how where you are and what you are doing will impact how you learn. So back to the example of me, okay? While I'm fixing breakfast, brushing my teeth, taking a shower, getting dressed, my brain is rather still attentive at this time of the day. This is because all of the actions I am doing are rather habitual. They don't require a lot of my brain power. I do these things every day and I can easily go on autopilot for all of them. This allows my brain to focus on something else while I do those things. The absolute best way to learn while getting stuff done and moving throughout your day is audio. Audio learning allows you to feed your mind without having to sit down or postpone your life temporarily. And since my brain is rather still attentive during this time of day, I listen to things that I know require some of my thinking power and more energy to comprehend. I might as well use my brain energy while I still have it. That's my philosophy. Since I operate in the world of business and personal growth, I may listen to a book or a podcast about personal finance, investing, or about psychology or something like that. These are topics that are not really simple, but I love to learn about them. This is the best time of day for my brain to absorb that type of information. I hope you're seeing how I'm tying together where I am and what I'm doing to how and what I'm learning. The next part of my day, I'm preparing and driving to work. The time and where depends on the day in my career, but I do know that work prep and driving in the DC area does require a little bit more of my brain during the day. I'm still mobile and I'm active at this point, so my medium of learning at this point, which is audio, has not changed. But based on what I'm doing at this point of the day, the content I am learning from and consuming has changed. I no longer have the brain capacity to comprehend psychological theories or financial formulas. I've dialed back my learning to something that still provides me valuable information. But if I get a little distracted, I won't miss an important concept that I have to go back and keep rewinding. And it's like trying to read a book while you're sleepy. You keep reading the same page over and over again. Anyway, in my personal preference, I tend to listen to a podcast that has interviews of successful people, or a podcast that delivers news and points of view that I value, or even that challenges my values. I like that as well. This is a perfect balance of valuable information and entertainment for me. I also don't want you to undervalue the importance of silence and quiet thought. Oftentimes while I'm driving, I listen to absolutely nothing, just to simply give my mind the space and the opportunity to further comprehend and even conceptually apply what I learned earlier in the day. Now, the next part of my day may be the hardest for most people to learn during, and that is while you are at work. Most likely, while you're at work, you cannot watch a YouTube video, you can't read a Medium article, you can't read a book, or you can't listen to a podcast. This is a challenge, and I love it because it forces you to shift your point of view. There is always something you can learn, no matter where you are or what you are doing. I want you to remember that. There's always something that you can learn. In every situation you are in at work, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This goes for the employed and the self-employed. If you're constantly asking yourself this question in every situation, you'll be surprised how much you do in fact learn. If you are reading about social skills, practice those skills on some of your coworkers at your job. Take the feedback and see what you can learn. If you're learning about marketing, finance, ask yourself, how would I market a certain product or service at my job? How would you increase revenue at your place of work? Apply whatever you have learned about increasing revenue if you work for yourself. There are so many ways to learn and apply while at a job that may not even be in your field of interest. Now, of course, we do want your job and career to be in your field of interest. But once again, I'm diving into a whole nother episode. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast. See, this is why I tell you guys to subscribe to the show, because all these things are interrelated. You don't want to miss one of the episodes that might unlock the answers to the questions that you have in this episode. And of course, if you do have a question, you could just hit me up on LinkedIn or ask me on my Ask Clee page on my website, which is buildyourvision.co. Man, what am I on today? I'm really getting distracted. Anyway, subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss anything that might answer your questions in future episodes. Okay, in the latter part of my day, my brain is spent. I've been using it all day to solve problems. But learning is still possible at this point. Your drive home is a good time to do some self-reflection. Ask yourself, how was my day? Was I productive? What did I accomplish? What would I have done differently? And what did I learn today? When you ask yourself these questions, you'll discover and learn things about yourself that you otherwise would have never realized. And you'll learn what you want to do differently the next day. Reflective and forward thinking puts your learning miles ahead of the competition, who is mostly only behaving and reacting and making decisions in the moment. Once I get home, I'm sedentary again. My mind is tired. I don't feel like doing a lot. I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing, but I love to watch a screen while I eat dinner. My YouTube subscriptions are full of educational channels that provide me interesting information that I love to learn while I eat. So I'm learning while I'm eating dinner too, even when my brain is tired, because I just get to sit there and watch. It's awesome. All right, lastly, before I go to sleep, I usually journal my day and what I want to accomplish for the next day. It is one thing to think about something, but a whole nother thing to put it into the physical world. Lastly, I read my book of choice that feeds my mind one last time before I'm ready to shut down and shut off the lights. And I end my day the way I started it, which was by reading my Bible to center myself and gain wisdom before I nod off. This is the last step in my learning process for the day. Then I go to sleep and I wake up the next day and the next mornings and the next morning, and I do it all over again. It never gets old or boring because there's always something new to learn and you're always growing and refining yourself. It's amazing. Imagine learning for 13 hours a day, 5 days a week. Chill out on the weekends a little bit. That's why I said 5 days a week. You're increasing your learning by over 200%. And you do this without interrupting or disrupting your normal day in any way. You're working smarter, not harder. That's how you learn faster and smarter. If you found this episode or any episode of this show valuable, I would love to hear about it. Leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts for me quickly, please. I try to provide the best content I can for you every week, well, more than once a week, free of charge. This would be a great way for me to know what you were listening to and if you're receiving what I'm offering. It doesn't even have to be a good review. If you think I'm trash, you can say that too. Just say something. Just say something. All right. I appreciate you guys and keep building your vision every single day. I'll talk to you Tuesday. Peace. Oh, yeah. And if you want to know the specific software, apps, or content that I use in my contextual learning, the links to all of that would be in the show notes. So there you go. Hey guys, Clee here. Thanks so much for listening to the Build Your Vision podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I would think you did if you stayed all the way to the end. The best thing that you could do to help support this show is by sharing it with somebody. By you just taking a few seconds to recommend this show to somebody, you are making a huge impact, not only on the success of this show, but possibly on that person's life.